In the land of misinformation, I'm the truth seeker. Cut through the lies like a blade, I'm a fact checker. Black communications, the social need to follow. Unmasking fake news, exposing them all tomorrow. I'm on a mission, fighting for the information. No room for deception, it's time for retaliation. Black communications, we set the record straight. Real news, no filters, just the facts we dedicate. Fake news spreading like an epidemic outbreak, but I won't back down, I'll be the one to make them choke. Black communications, not that relevant until exposing all the lies. Watch it burn in hell.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, Rosa here of Splat Communications. Before we start, may we request dear followers, viewers and subscribers to please don't skip ads. This will help us a lot to continue the work that we do. Thank you. Likewise, may we request those who have not subscribed yet to please do so. Kindly make it a habit to like the videos, but more importantly, share it so you can help us in our fight against fake news, misinformation and disinformation.
I just have a short slide, Mr. Chair. A presentation, Mr. Chair, if it can be shown by the committee secretariat. If I may, Mr. Chair. Thank you. The slide, Mr. Chair, is just to describe the case because it details the extrajudicial killing. So this is just a sharing of what the complaint is all about and the evidence presented in that complaint, Mr. Chair. So first, next slide, please. So the victims here filed a case in the ICC on two grounds: crimes against humanity for murder, and the second is crime against humanity under Article 7 paragraph K for inhumane acts, Mr. Chair. The one complaint mentioned by NUPL is with regards to the complaint filed by NUPL. There were actually other complaints filed, but we are not familiar with them. So we will just focus on the complaint which we filed on behalf of the families of the victims and Rise Up for Life. So those are the two cases, Mr. Chair. Next slide, please. What was the basis of the complaint? Next slide, please. The basis of the complaint, which was filed in 2018 first, was the public statements of President Duterte. I understand that the committee is not here for a political vendetta or it's an issue of politics, and I assure the committee that this is not the intention even of the families of the victims. But the fact is, and the truth is, the President himself made those public statements, and therefore we cannot avoid mentioning him. Even before he won for the presidency, he already promised to kill people whom he suspects to be involved in drugs. When I become president, I'll order the police and the military to find these people and kill them. When he became president, and in so many instances, he again reiterated that the sons of the bitches are destroying our children. If you know of any addict, go ahead and kill them yourself. There are many other statements, Mr. Chair, including the promise to pardon any police officer who was charged in court. If nothing happened after the statements of President Duterte, then he could get away with the statement that that was just a joke, that was just bluster. There was no intention to implement those orders. The problem of President Duterte is this: right after he mentioned these public statements, drug suspects begin dying all over the country. Now, that has risen now to an evidentiary level because these public statements, which are in the transcript of PCOO, transcript of the SONA here in Congress, are official records. Next slide, please. 13 days after he took office, suspects begin dying all over the country in a systematic manner, Mr. Chair. Hindi siya parang gawa lang ng isang siraulong pulis o isang siraulong sarhento. No, systematically namamatay. Central Luzon, 55 killed immediately within 13 days. Metro Manila, 44 killed. Calabarzon, 17, etc. By September of 2017, almost a year after the assumption into office of President Duterte, different regions registered killing of drug suspects. Region 1, 188, Region 2, 58, Region 3, 619, etc., etc., Mr. Chair. Next slide, please. Other than that, there were also killings not only in Luzon, but in Visayas and Mindanao. So we were able to tally a huge number of reported deaths. When we filed the complaint, Mr. Chair, there was a discussion among us. Do we use the 10,000 or 12,000 or 25,000 mentioned by human rights groups? Or do we just use the data from the PNP, PIDEA, and the government itself when we filed the case in the ICC. The decision was, let's use the data itself of the police para wala nang debate. Kasi the moment we say 10,000, the debate will be centered on saan nyo kinuha yan? How did you know it's 10,000? So para ma-avoid yung ma-sidetrack yung complaint, we focus na on government data. In any case, whether it's 6,000 or 25,000, it's still one death too many. Next slide, Mr. Chair. Ngayon, may nagtatanong, the numbers, how do we know na tama itong numbers na to? And we mentioned in the briefing that it came from government in real numbers.ph. But, there was a question, pwede ba nating maprubahan ang numbers na yan? And so we have this slide, Mr. Chair. Short lang naman to, please play it, to show na itong slides na to came from the government and not from the complainants themselves. Can you play that, please? This is a PCOO press con of August 17th of 2018. The briefing was conducted by NBI Deputy Director Ferdinand Lavin. It was presided by ASIC Merly Banaag and PNP spokesperson, Police Senior Superintendent Benigno Durana. Maririnig ba?
2018, total of 105,658 anti-illegal drug operations, or an increase of 3,028 anti-illegal drug operations from June 30 to July 31 of this year. Were conducted by PDEA, PNP, NBI, and other law enforcement agencies nationwide, which resulted in the arrest of 152,123 drug personalities, or an increase of 4,321 drug personalities for the same period. Also, an increase of 4,410 drug personalities were recorded casualties on the same period. For the same period, June 30 to July 31, there is an increase of 56 recorded casualties.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So essentially, the government during these press briefings admitted to the number of deaths. In this particular press briefing, it was 4,410 as of, I think, July 2018. The data is there. And the URL of the websites of the PCOO and RTVM are there. So basically, there is no question as to the numbers of deaths because this is official government data, Mr. Chair. Next slide, please. Next slide. Other than the public admissions of the President, Mr. Chair, the other evidence that we will present in the ICC hearing would be, one, the direct evidence itself, testimony of witnesses, survivors, whistleblowers, CCTV and video records, Mr. Chair. And I would like just to cite a few possible direct evidence that may be cited should there be trial subsequently, Mr. Chair. The case of Efren Murillo. He was the lone survivor in a bloody drug raid in Quezon City. Dumating yung police, 4 sila, pinaril sila, namatay yung 3, siya nakasurvive, wounded, but he managed to file a case against those police that he identified to have raided their house while they were watching TV. Second, the killing of Zenaida Luz in Mindoro by 2 persons riding in tandem who were later arrested by the police, and the police found out that the 2 were actually officers of the PNP. The third is the attempted killing of Cebu Councilor Jessie Lou Kadungog on July 30, 2018, wherein a riding in tandem attempted to shoot Councilor Kadungog in Cebu, but his driver managed to shoot the riding in tandem, and they turned out to be members of the police. And of course, other cases such as Carl Arnaiz and Kian De Los Santos cases, where there are direct testimony from the victims and or survivors or witnesses as to the involvement of the police. And of course, the theory of the case that we will put in the trial in the ICC is that this was upon the order of the chief executive. Next slide, please. I think I have 3 last slides, Mr. Chair. Next slide, please. Other than the direct evidence of witnesses, testimonies, etc., there is also a pattern of evidence that was established by human rights lawyers. The first is public vilification. The second is brazenness with which the killings were committed. And the third is lack of interest to investigate. This pattern, Your Honors, Mr. Chair, is being presented to prove that these killings, even by those unknown assailants, are state-sponsored killing. What was the proof? First, public vilification of the victim by the government. Immediately, if kung murder case yan, you can already see the motive behind, because the government itself publicly vilified the victim before the victim was attacked. So that's the first part of the pattern. Hindi private individual, government officials attacking the victim publicly before they were killed. Second, the brazenness with which the killings were committed in many instances in public places, near police stations, as if the perpetrator was never afraid at all of being accosted by the authorities. This is the second part of the pattern where we assert that this is state-sponsored. Hindi takot pumatay sa malapit sa pulis kasi ang aming pagtingin, Mr. Chair, gawa mismo ng state security forces. So, and we set examples there like Salvador Locasia, who was taken by the police in front of many witnesses in a wake. The killings of Danilo Dacumos, Bernabe Sabangan, Arnold Vitalis in front of the relatives and friends. Very open at hindi takot yung pumatay, Mr. Chair. Wala sila talagang takot to be accosted by the authorities. That is the second part of the pattern. The third part, Mr. Chair, next slide please, is for complete lack of interest
Tony Neri,
to
bago
seriously...
mo ituloy.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yung pong pumatay, mga pulis natin,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
sila po
Doon
ba
sa...
naka-uniforme bilang pulis?
Hindi naka-uniforme, Mr. Chair, pero police ang identification. Mr.
Naka-civilian
Chair.
clothes po sila.
Ang iba, Mr. Chair.
Sila po ba ay nag-identify ng mga pulis po sila?
Well, Mr. Chair, sa ibang instance, Mr. Chair, identified na police ng witness. For example, when I mentioned the Kadungog attempted murder, identified yon kasi nahuli eh. Councilor sa Cebu. Yes. Yung kay Luz naman from Mindoro, nahuli din. So, doon nalaman na police. Well, kay Carl Arnaiz, may kita naman, may video yon eh, may testimony. So,
So,
there are instances na
nahuli
may...
po yung mga pulis.
Yes po.
Are they now being investigated? Nakakulong po sila ngayon?
Hindi ko po alam yung nangyari sa Luz case, sa Kadungog case. Ang alam ko nga sa Kadungog case, Mr. Chair, ang kinasuhan yung driver. Ang kinasuhan doon yung driver na dinipensahan niya ang councilor na baril niya ang riding in tandem. So ngayon, Mr. Chair, yung last point dito, lack of interest to seriously investigate. May order, Mr. Chair, ang Korte Suprema na isubmit yung mga incidents and relevant documents sa isang kaso sa Korte Suprema. Ang sabi po talaga ng mga parties, hindi matagal na sinubmit plus hindi klaro ang record na nasubmit. Ang second, Mr. Chair, is this: 6,200 at least yung na-inadmit ng gobyerno. Pero ang naimbestigahan ng gobyerno as of 2022, September 8, was only 52 cases. Were only 52 cases. So sa tingin naman namin, 6,200 ang namatay, pag 52 cases lang ang naimbestigahan as of 2022, talagang kulang sa interest to investigate. Nakuha po namin to sa paragraph 86 ng government appeal sa ICC. When it was submitted in the ICC by the international lawyer Sara Bafadel and of course the Philippine government, doon namin nakuha ang data na ito. Next slide please. Bakit out of 6,200, 52 lang ang may kaso? Ang aming sinasite palagi, Mr. Chair, is yung Rule 15.4 ng Rules of Engagement ng Revised PNP Operational Procedure na nagsasabi na pag may namatay in the course of a police operation, dapat may inquest, dapat may investigasyon. So technically, Mr. Chair, kung 6,200 killings ang inadmit ng police, dapat may 6,200 inquest din. Kasi yung nakalagay sa rules of engagement nila. In cases of armed confrontation where the suspect dies, the team leader of the operating unit shall submit the incident for inquest. Hindi, ngayon, pwede namang sabi, wala kasing inquest fiscal. Maybe, in some instances, but 6,200 in Metro Manila, may inquest fiscal ang Metro Manila, Mr. Chair. Hindi naman pwedeng 52 lang ang may inquest fiscal. Ngayon, ang tanong, just because sabi ng pulis, sa aming operation, lanlaban kasi, can the prosecutor dismiss any complaint? Under the rules, Mr. Chair, hindi pwede. Dapat, the prosecutor should find probable cause. Kasi may patay eh. Ano pang probable cause ang hahanapin mo? Inamin naman ang pumatay na akong pumatay. The only thing is, ang defense niya, self-defense. Pero under our jurisprudence and our rules, Mr. Chair, dapat ang sabihin ng prosecutor, di sa korte ka na magpaliwanag ng depensa mo. Kakasuhan talaga kita for murder or homicide kung pwede, but doon ka magsabi ng self-defense. Hindi pwede mag-judge, jury, and executioner ang piskal at sabihin niya, self-defense pala, di okay na tayo. Wala nang problema. Cannot be. Kasi may patay eh. And the prosecutor has no, para sa akin authority to absolve a police who was killed on the mere statement of a police officer na self-defense yung laban kasi. And I cite even the Kadungog case. In the Kadungog case, the driver shot the riding in tandem. And doon nalaman na police pala itong riding in tandem. Pero ang nangyari, kinasuhan siya ng DOJ. Yes, alam namin self-defense lang yon. Dinipensahan mo lang si Konsehal Kadungog, pero sa korte mo yan i-present, hindi sa amin. Dapat ganun din ang treatment sa police. Na pag may namatay, ako ang pumatay, ang claim ko na self-defense, dapat sa korte. Hindi pwedeng i-dismiss ang complaint. So yun ang reason namin, Mr. Chair, for alleging the third part of the pattern. Complete lack of interest to investigate. So, in the end, Mr. Chair, I just described to you, last slide please, I think that's the last slide. I just described to the committee and the Honorable Chair the complaint filed by families of the victims. The families of the victims are here, they can thresh out the specifics and the details. We just gave the committee a run-through of the legal case filed in the ICC. In the end, the victims merely reiterate, Mr. Chair, to this committee and to the House of Representatives their plea for justice for their loved ones. All they want is an opportunity to have justice for their loved ones. They continue to hope that the perpetrators will be made to account for their crimes soon. Yun lang naman ang hinihingi ng mga relatives ng victims, and we're very glad that the committee, especially the chair and members of the House, have given the victims and the family of the victims a chance to acquire justice and extract justice from those who perpetrated one of the most heinous crimes ever in Philippine history, and that transpired in the so-called drug war.
In a world unfolding, where stories come alive amidst the chaos.
Please support Splat Communication Channel memberships. For small amounts per month, you would be able to help us continue our fight against fake news and disinformation. We have 3 levels of memberships: Splat Beginner, Splat Intermediate Plus, and Super Splat. Channel members have the any or all of the following perks: Loyalty Badge, Priority Reply to Messages, Members Only Live Chat, in-video and live video shoutouts, Early Access to Videos, Connecting to Social Media, Free and Discounted Merchandise. Hurry! Please become a channel member now. Shoutouts: Marisol Cadip, hello everyone. Ramon Ramos, Splat Communications. Renato Ibarra, channel for reliable, Liam Beans, accurate information regarding Maykli Flagme, surveys, Non-Ito Canofri, politics, Maria Leonora Cacoquia, travel and technology, Irene Gomez, Mr. Stevedore, Angelita Generalo, Ray Merrily, O Lopez, Stephanie Castrillo, Xavier Tanola,
ang pera.
Renato Santos,
Sino si Eddie?
Lolita Jabea, Milagros Valenzuela, Mommy Pior, Rosemary Poo,
Tumindig kayo.
FAC, Chris Pulon,
Tinidiyak ko.
Gloria
Meron ding
Kobayashi,
kikindig sa tabi nyo.
Stephanie Castrillo, Xavier Tanola, Lolita Jabea, Milagros Valenzuela, Mommy Pior, Rosemary Poo, Andronico P. Tubjar Jr., Moritz Sumario, Lori Mama Wack, Amarelia Faga, Evelyn Dentro, Eleuterio Rizada Jr., Anthony Delos Reyes, Claros Riosa, Marcelina de Guzman, Rick Dederos, Chris Pulon, Nilo Antonio, Ramel Moral,
Our truth we can't hide. We're the source you lean on, reliable and strong. Get your news from us, where you truly belong. In every headline written, the stories that we tell, the captivating moments that life compels. Through the lens of truth, we scene. Splat communications, where facts intervene. Yeah.
Splat reaction/commentary. As an observer, I found attorney and former Congressman Nery Colmenares' presentation to the International Criminal Court (ICC) to be incredibly compelling and well-structured. His prosecution slide presentation against the alleged crimes against humanity during former President Rodrigo Duterte's war on illegal drugs from 2016 to 2022 was both enlightening and thought-provoking. Colmenares' meticulous attention to detail, his clear and concise delivery, and his unwavering commitment to justice were all on full display. His ability to distill complex legal concepts into understandable terms made the gravity of the allegations against the former administration even more apparent. The presentation was a stark reminder of the importance of accountability and the rule of law. It was a testament to the tireless work of those who seek justice for the victims of these alleged crimes. As a viewer, I felt a sense of hope that justice might finally be served. Overall, I was deeply impressed by Attorney Colmenares' professionalism, his passion for justice, and his dedication to upholding human rights. His presentation was a powerful reminder of the importance of holding our leaders
Ain't no
accountable
land of
for their actions.
misinformation, I'm the truth seeker. Cut through the lies like a blade, I'm a fact checker. Splat communications, the social need to follow. I'm activating news, exposing them all tomorrow. I'm on a mission, fighting for the information. No room for deception, it's time for retaliation. Splat communications, we set the record straight. Real news, no filters, just the facts we dedicate. Fake news spreading like an epidemic outbreak, but I won't back down, I'll be the one to make them choke. Splat communications, not that relevant until exposing all the lies. Watch it burn it